We are live. Gonna see if we can get someone to join us this evening.
I'm gonna see if I can share this to my page.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Come on in, everybody. Come on in, sit right down, and let's have a good time. We are excited about this evening's broadcast. We want to give a few people an opportunity to sign on and to join us so that they can get this wonderful information that we are about to share. Anyone out there so far, please send us a hello in the chat, please.
I think I'm gonna have to go to your page. So I don't see anybody there yet. I'm gonna put my phone here. So if I'm turning my head back and forth, that's so that I can see who's talking to us on over here. So, but we can get started. This is recording, so.
I'm going to give it about another minute to see if anybody joins us.
Okay.
Thank you guys for your time. Been excited about this broadcast for a little while. Okay. Today's broadcast is a continuation of our journey, our health and wellness journey. Me, myself, Denise Robinson, and my niece, Alicia Bailey, who is our health and wellness coordinator and instructor and guru. And joining us today, we have our dear friend and my my god baby's mama, Miss Dana Cox. Good to see you, Dana.
Good to see you both.
Melisha, how's thank you. We're gonna start with Melisha. How's the journey going?
Well, my journey is good. I can't say I've lost a significant amount of weight, but a little bit. But I give myself daily goals. And so my goal is to drink a lot of water and to get my workouts in and just go back to what I know to do. So I feel good. I feel fantastic. I feel healthy. And actually, somebody told me today, it was like, you're looking really good. I'm like, really? I said, I'm still trying to battle that COVID weight, but it's all good. So, I feel good. That's all I know. So the journey continues.
Absolutely. Melisha and I just came back from vacation where we celebrated her big birthday. And I did everything wrong. And I had to come back and detox seriously because I enjoyed my vacation way too much. They had 3 meals a day prepared by a particular chef there who was absolutely wonderful in Jamaica. And I ate way more than I normally do because I tend to typically try to do just maybe 1 meal a day and a snack. But I was doing 3 meals a day and snack 390 times, 39 times a day. So I literally, I think I came back and in one week I just stopped eating, and I think I had lost like maybe 10 pounds or something. But it it's been fluctuating between that 10 pounds and like losing 2 here, gaining 3, losing back and forth. So we're still on the journey. We're still watching, yeah, like Alicia said, doing our exercising and trying to do what we can. Today's broadcast is basically talking about taking control of your health and taking control over your life. When you take control of your health, you take control of your life. And that's why I'm excited today, because our dear friend Dana has been on this journey. Dana, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey. How did you start, and where are you right now?
Okay. Well, my name is Dana Cox. My I started my journey um, right the year that COVID started, so 2020, right? 2020.
Mhm.
And I I actually started 3 years prior. And the reason why I started 3 years prior but was not losing weight was because I had to get myself together mentally, ready to do this journey. And I just determined in my mind that I was going to take my time. So I started doing just little things, parking a little further from venues, just deciding to make a healthy choice every once in a while. And then in 2020, I finally was able to get enough discipline in enough choices that was able to stick to some kind of plan. And I started, well, I'm not going to say where I started, but I lost. So far, I've lost 50 pounds. And
Wow.
I started with um, my schooling to become nutrition and health, get my master's in nutrition and health education so that I can practice as a nutritionist. And I'm also going to pursue my doctoral degree in that area. And currently, I work as a nutrition professional in the vitamin supplement industry. So I do a lot of health research on different vitamins and supplements, but I never really followed what the research said. I just would do my work, but I never really did my work. And then my boss said, it's easier to be the part. If you want to be the part, to do the part. So that
Yes.
kind of is what changed my focus.
Yes. One of the things that I don't know about you, Dana, but for myself, my journey didn't start because I was sick or ill or anything of the sort. It was just that I had a paradigm shift. I started off in this year, 2021, in February, and we began to um, fast as a church for spiritual reasons. First of all, before I start this, I want to say a shout out to Pastor Dolores Fluellen, who has joined us. Greetings. But yeah, we started off. I started off in a fast, asking God for something spiritual, and it's funny how God will say what you need is this. And so it wasn't because I was sick. It wasn't because I was, self-loathing or anything like that. It just started off me fasting and seeking God. And then I had a revelation that if I continue um, doing what I was doing, I was getting such results. I said, by the end of the year, I could be where I want to be. And although I'm not exactly where I was wanting to be, however, I am about 65 pounds lighter than I was in February. And so our journey is continuing. And so I did that in private pretty much. And so I wanted to people was asking me, okay, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And so people kept asking me so much, then I decided to go public and to do these little forums along with Melisha, my health and wellness coach, and some of our friends who have been out there, who have commented and have talked about what we were doing. And so what I wanted to do the second half of my journey by just using a community of people and reaching out to, because all of us can benefit from this information. One week I talked about healthier alternatives and showed you some of the things that I was doing, some of the sugars, because sugar in itself is horrible for your weight loss journey. And so we have some alternatives, so that one of the things that I was so grateful about is that I never compromised taste. I didn't eat a bunch of nasty food, because I probably would not have stayed with that had I done that, So I was able to find, I still even use salt, pepper, and all of the other kind of things people would say typically don't use this stuff on a weight loss journey, but I'm still losing weight. So it has to be more than that. So I've recognized that it's more of the carbohydrates that you have to eliminate, the breads, the pastas, the sugars, and those things that turn into sugar in your body. Melisha, there's two different kind of carbohydrates. I know it's complex carbohydrates, and what's the other one? Just regular
Simple
carbohydrates?
Simple carbohydrates. They come from like sugar, white stuff, and things like that.
Okay. That one is horrible for you. However, there are carbs in your vegetables. And I believe some of the experts were saying that you should eliminate some of those, but you can still have up to about 50 of those kind of carbs that are coming from vegetables, but under 20 for the other kind of carbohydrates. That's the one that I had saw. So Dana, exactly what did you do for your journey? What did you follow?
Well, in my research, I realized that there's a significant amount of weight gain associated with stress levels. And because I am a chronic stressor, whether you stress eat or just stress and your hormones are going crazy and cortisol is packing weight on your gut, things of that nature, I decided that that's where I was going to start. So that's why I had the 3-year start before I actually really started seeing results, because according to our faith, you cannot do anything unless you believe it. You can't walk out anything unless you believe it. You can't achieve anything without belief. And so I knew, based upon my faith in God, that I needed to get that whole spiritual aspect together. And so I started with stress levels. And when I started my master's degree, it's a holistic program. And so it's not a whole lot of elimination, or I didn't follow a whole lot of guidelines. I didn't count calories. I wasn't a particular weight loss program and was very successful that uses point systems. And I love that program, but I didn't, I just stuck to eating whole foods as much as possible. I still try to make that my choice. I don't really worry I stay away from added sugar, but I don't worry about sugars as much in foods as long as they're whole, because of really it comes down to it's a little bit of individuality in research. They're seeing that affects people differently individual. But for me, I didn't really look at those numbers or count calories or anything. And when I did actually count my calories one day, majority of my plate was fruits and vegetables, which is a recommendation by Harvard Health. They have a healthy plate recommendation, which shows that the majority of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, with fruits being about a third of the half of your plate. And then your proteins are like fish, really, in their recommendation only. They don't really recommend lean proteins like the USDA plate. My plate recommendation does. So I didn't really follow that either. I kind of stuck to, because, we live in a real world, and we have what God provides to us, what we have to eat. And so I made the best choices with what I had. So I stuck to chicken and fish and fruits and vegetables and lean meats. And I did stick to whole grains, because refined grains, in the holistic view, contain, well, one, they're stripped. The more foods are processed, they're stripped of their nutrients. So you end up getting a refortified product that is not going to be filling. It's not going to keep you full. And that was, it's not real food. And my goal was to remain satiated. And so I stuck to high fiber, high protein, and fruits and vegetables was basically how I got my high protein and high fiber. And I didn't really stick to carbs. And I never felt guilty for when I had my bowl of ice cream or when I drank my pop, and on those things, I never said, oh, well, I'm going to eat low-cal ice cream. Who wants low-cal ice cream? I ate the real deal cookie dough ice cream, but I was disciplined on, 85% of the time was my goal to remain disciplined to my diet. And then 15% of the time, is where depleting foods, how I reference them, would come in. So that's kind of the plan that I've stuck to.
And that's wonderful, because you have to find something that works for you. Because I remember a few years ago, I started off on the keto plan, and I didn't really understand it. So I was doing everything wrong. And so when I started my journey in February of this year, I just started doing some research and found out, man, I'm doing that wrong. Man, I'm doing this wrong. And so I kept adjusting. So I was adjusting, okay, this doesn't work. Or if I got to a ceiling, then I said, okay, I've capped out right here. So let me try something different. So I would switch up my plan, whether I was fasting a few days of the week, then I'd switch up to maybe just doing a half a day, and then I'd switch up again. So that your body doesn't get used to one particular thing and just cap and max out. So I constantly kept switching.
Mm-hmm.
The month of April, I just went really radical, and I went like 3 days a week. I didn't eat. I'd eat one day, and then the next day I wouldn't eat again, and then, eat 2 more days. So I was basically fasting 4 days out of the week, and then, just eating 3 days. And then then I did maybe the cabbage soup diet for maybe a week or something. So I kept switching things up. Then I, did of course, the intermittent fasting, which is absolutely wonderful. Melisha did more of the paleo type of lifestyle, but I believe all of them take us right back to the garden where God had given us, fruits and vegetables. He said, I've given you everything that you need for life and, and godliness. And so everything that he's given us is for life. And even the whole meats that we try to go organic as much as possible, because a lot of these meats things have gone just really crazy, and a lot of GMOs and all that kind of garbage. But if we stick to the plan that God had set for us, we will have a more healthy approach to life. What do you think, Melisha?
Well, absolutely. I agree with Dana. To bio-individuality, when I lost my first 60 pounds, people would ask me all the time, what did I do? And I don't really like to tell people what I did, because what worked for me may not work for you. So But I'm on your journey. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, whole meat, whole grain. Not, and actually, I've taken a lot of grains out of my diet. Eating good meats, good foods. I want to put the cleanest foods as I can in my body. Drink a lot of water. Make sure that I'm getting organic, fresh foods. I don't like a lot of fake foods. I want real foods. And if I want something sweet, I'm going to get something sweet. But but to me, it all starts with mindset. And I had a lot of stress too. And stress makes your body hold on to weight. And I took my hair analysis, which is one of the things I share with my business, and stress came up really big for me. And so I have to really work on my mindset. So when I'm working with clients or anybody, you have to start there before you can do anything. And so Dana, you were on this journey for a while, changing your mindset, changing how you think, and then the food will follow. And so you just have to take it one day at a time, one meal at a time, and find what works for you. So I'm so pleased. I'm so excited for you, Denise, and your weight loss and what you've done. You inspire me. I don't like measuring my foods or anything like that. I want to eat what I eat, and I don't want to feel guilty about it. So, but I will say, when we came back from Jamaica, I didn't gain any weight, so I'm happy about that, and I ate a lot. So. But no, I like eating whole foods, but it's an individual affair, and what works for me may not work for you. So
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really didn't realize, but also sleep is a big thing for that. And I know that Dana is probably like me and almost never gets any sleep. And I didn't realize that how much sleep the lack of sleep is a detriment to your weight loss journey. Alicia, talk on that.
well, I know I don't sleep good, and probably these last 20 pounds that I'm holding on to, it's not really about my diet. It's not really about what I'm drinking or anything like that. It's about that I don't get proper sleep. And now that's what I'm really tweaking, trying to get a good sleep habit where I can sleep, because if you don't get sleep, your body needs that rest to regenerate itself, to revive itself, and so that your metabolism, that's when your metabolism goes up. And when you wake up in the morning, you should have a big strong pee, and that's getting rid of all those toxins and fat and all that stuff during the day. So if you're not sleeping, which I know that I'm not, you're not going to have a successful weight loss plan. So these last 20 pounds I'm holding on to is mainly just because I don't sleep right. So sleep, you need it.
So what do you say?
Yes, I do.
So
about sleep?
Yeah, in your studies, what are they? I know you're doing more intensive studies. I didn't go to school for any of this, but tell us some of the things that we should be looking out for and looking into. Dana?
You're addressing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Or Malaysia? Oh, I'm sorry. Right. So stress and sleep is significantly important, as well as meditation. In my practice that I'm learning, and I know that meditation's kind of like, people kind of cringe, like in the Christian world, in our group, we kind of cringe about meditation. However, the Word of God says that we should meditate in His Word day and night. And so what I started to do is learn their techniques of meditation and then apply them with scripture. So many times when you meditate, it's just basically being disciplined enough to be still, and just to focus on take time to focus on your body and how you're feeling, and to think yourself to a better place. Well, what I would do is I would choose a scripture and I would meditate on that scripture, but practice the same thing and the same relaxation techniques, and and received the relaxation from the stress. Because, you know, I have 3 kids and they're all very, very, very busy. And then I'm very busy and my husband's very busy. And so stress is high and sleep is very minimal. But I found that even just relaxing, and I think COVID season helped me, because when that came, unfortunately, I hate that, you know, we lost so many lives, but I was so tired. And I think just being able to get some rest and not run and be everywhere, I was able to kind of regenerate and rejuvenate on that point of my weight loss journey. And so that's what I think has been very important for me, as far as the new research that I've learned while in school.
Melisha, read some comments that we have. Um,
Let's see. We have your brother on. Uncle Skip is on today. Pastor Dolores said stress plus sleep plus meditation are very necessary, and she's right. And I'm like you. Sometime in the Christian world, we think we're not, that it's new agey to meditate, but I love my meditation, and it has really helped me. So thank you, Pastor Fu Allen, for your comments. Let me see. Herbert Robinson is watching. I think somebody, that's all
and
that, I don't see any other comments.
okay.
So anybody else put some comments out there for us.
Yeah, and
But
you
sleep,
know,
meditation, and stress.
and that's the thing, is that anything that's written in the scriptures can get perverted, and then then you think it's wrong, but it was initiated from the word of God, because God knows everything that we need. He's our creator, and everything that we need, again, for life and godliness, he has provided for us. And one of the things to meditate means to mutter over. And sometimes it's good to like
Mhm.
talk to yourself, and that's what that means. Just the scripture says, think on these things, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are just, holy, righteous, wonderful, etc. Think on these things, because we're inundated with a boatload of negativity in the course of a day. And so if we were to set our minds on those things, that does build that stress level. But if we think on the things that are pure and lovely and wholesome and wonderful and righteous and lovely, then those things, we will not have so much stress on us. And I think that's, just get back to the basics. Um,
Well, I will say, I think, especially with meditation, it's about breathing, and it's about getting that breath of life in your body,
Mhm.
and it makes you calm down, and it calms your central nervous system, and it works on your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit. So when you're able to do that, then that releases a pathway for you to rejuvenate and regain your health as well too. So just being able to breathe and get some good air in your lungs, that's a great part of meditation. So that's one reason why it's so good for you.
Pastor
Let's see if we
Dolores
have any more.
she made a correction, rest, sleep, and meditation. I think we understood what you were reducing the stress and
Yes.
sleep. That's how we read it. We understood what you were saying. And that is so correct. Dana?
I was going to say another thing, roadblock that I had in the journey was that because I have anemia, exercise hasn't really been an option right now until I get my iron levels up a little more. So really, and diet wasn't either. And as I said, I wasn't really dieting. I was just eating more of the good stuff. But I haven't really. I would go to go shopping, just walk through Ross and walk through Big Lots, and I mean, I was disciplined enough not to buy everything, but I wasn't necessarily out in the gym and hitting it hard and, doing something rigorous, but just like I had mentioned at the beginning, parking my car further, not trying like and sometimes I would think, oh, I just want to be next to the door. And I'd be like, nope. And I would drive all the way down to in the parking lot. And my husband's like, why are you parking in Utah? It's like, because this is my opportunity to get, a few more steps in. And so just my mindset was just to make it easy, whatever I could do to make it easy and actually set a goal and accomplish it,
And that's
because you get momentum.
yeah, just doing those small tweaks. And believe it or not, walking is probably one of the best exercises that you can do. It's probably better even than running. Some of the experts would tell you
Mhm.
that perhaps, and even I remember seeing this gentleman who was he was about 600 pounds, and he could not, of course, even walk hardly. But they started him off just fidgeting, just doing, like this. That even something that
Mhm.
simple is actually getting your heart rate moving. And so he started with that. He ended up losing about 400 pounds or more. Um, because I mean, it just started where you are. And so that's one of the things that do not, one of the things that I love about the journey is because I did not try to kill myself. Um, and if I went on vacation, I enjoyed that time away. I probably have lost probably about 100 pounds total since February. But I would lose some weight, and then I'd gain a couple of pounds back because I enjoyed my time away. I do have a very stressful job as a full-time caregiver, and so if I have some
Mm.
moments that I can spend for myself and do something that I like to do, um, I do that. And so I've had several opportunities to get away for a couple of days, or to spend this time with some friends, or, I just went to a Christmas party the other day. And so I enjoy those moments. And so when I just don't live in that level of eating foolish, like I used to. I would eat foolish all the time. And so it wasn't so much that I did like some people who were my size would just eat like a bucket of chicken, or a pound of bacon at one sitting. I never ate like that, but I would eat the wrong things at the wrong time, because I hated going to sleep hungry. And that's probably one of the worst things that I could
Mhm.
do is eat and then go to sleep. But I've learned, I'm learning to do better about that. But there every now and then, if I'm staying up kind of late, then I'll have something, snack or something. But I just don't live in that. And so this is the thing that I'm trying to tell people about is just not trying to kill yourself, not trying to eat a bunch of nasty food. A lot of people don't want to do this weight loss journey, or they have spouses that don't want to continue on the journey with them because they think it's just like diet food, and that's um, the connotation is just horrible. But if you can, like we showed them for Thanksgiving, to have a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner, and switch out the potato salad for cauliflower salad, which absolutely a friend of mine did that, and her husband didn't even know the difference. That's just and the turkey, I season it to perfection, still with all of the same seasonings and stuff. And
Yes.
I just didn't do the macaroni and cheese, but I used baked sweet potatoes instead of candy yams. And
Mhm.
you still had a great dinner with just other options that are more healthier for you. So just making those small changes and tweaks in your diet. And on the last video that we did, Militia did a healthy version of with the green beans that you did, um, sauteed. And how did you make that?
I just I had they were fresh green beans. Just put them in a skillet with some olive oil. I think I had a little bit of bacon in there. Cut up some
Mm.
onions and garlic and just saute them. And I could eat that every day. And so that's an easier way to make vegetables and things like for me. So
And, and you know what? One of the things is that with keto, some people would say bacon. Oh my God! But with
Mhm.
keto, you can have that fattier meats because your body is changing from running on carbohydrates to, and not even protein, but using fats as the predominant fuel
Fuel
source. And
Mhm.
so they suggest that you use the fattier fishes like salmon, sardines, mackerel, um, and avocados, things that, that minds. That's why when I, thank you, smart.
Very good. Yes.
And avocado is like the superfood. And so I really had to change my mindset because a diet that told me I can eat bacon, but I can't have an apple. It was really messing with my mind. Or, everybody always told you you have to eat oatmeal, because, and we now are finding out that oatmeal is really, really harmful to people who have sugar diabetes because it spikes your insulin levels. So I had to regenerate my mind on how to eat. Alicia, any comments down on the bottom?
Um, Sister Pastor Fluellen said it's great to hear three different perspectives of success. Finding what works for you is the key. And I think that's the main thing that we want to express is you've got to find what works for you. And what worked for you last year may not work for you this year. So you have to constantly reevaluate what you're doing, what's working, what's not working, and make changes for success. Last year I added meat in my diet, which I hadn't did for about 3 years. And I think for 2022, I'm going to take out red meat, no bacon and no meat, but that's me. So I would go back to eating my fish, lots of salmon. I could eat salmon every day, and lots of chicken, and just doing vegetables. And really have cut out those grains. And so I do smoothies. That's what I do every morning. I had a big smoothie today, and that's a great way for me to get a big chunk of vegetables, fruits and vegetables, put some avocados in there or whatever. And so a lot of people don't want to drink their fruits and vegetables, but I don't mind drinking it. And so you have to make those tweaks of what works for you. So I have my smoothies. I normally have a salad and try to eat something sensible for dinner. And I think, you got to find what works for you. So yes, we all have a different perspective, but I will say this. I love my workouts and I try to go at it hard. And a lot of days I can't hardly work because I've lifted too many weights. Like today, my butt hurts from too many squats, but movement for me is key. And I can't walk a lot because I have a bad back. So I have had to learn what to do for me. So if you're not moving, I'm going to tell you, you need to make 30 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be strenuous. Walk. You can sit in your chair, get your YouTube video. There's all kind of apps out there, but you got to have diet, a good diet, sleep, decrease your stress, and some movement. And those are the keys.
Yeah, I actually got a couple of hand weights as well. I have one 10-pound and one 5-pound. And, even just sitting, sometimes what I've learned to do, I actually got a bike and I put my bike in front of the television. If you're going to sit and watch a movie, might as well make it productive. Or if I'm watching, or standing watching a movie, and I'll be doing something like that that keeps my weight, keep me lifting weights. I'm sorry. Pastor Dolores, if you're still out there, I know she's always been on a journey of health and fitness and wellness. Can you give us some pointers as to some of the things that you've done in the past or are currently doing, if you are still there with us? Dana, you also have a book out. What were you saying about the smart fats?
Oh, yes. This was one of the tools that they gave us for one of our classes. And it references the diets that you mentioned. It's actually a comparison of the diets for keto and I can't remember the name of the other one,
Paleo?
but I believe so. But the keto, reason why I remember, oh no, Atkins.
Okay.
So when they were talking about Atkins diet, because a lot of people went on Atkins and they lost weight, but then it was coming with side effects. Well, they were talking in this book, the person that actually, one of the people that actually went, tested the Atkins diet, he stuck to like, the conversation that we've been having is whole lean meats and, healthy fats. And you have to be careful with fats because there's so many different recommendations about what are healthy oils. And I mean, based on the research for that one, it's still kind of out. They're still out. The jury's still out on that one because, one day they're recommending that, olive oil, for example, not olive oil, but what is that?
Vegetable oil.
Coconut oil. Coconut oil is healthy, and then the next minute they're saying that it's not healthy. And you kind of have to really read about what's in your fats. You really want to stick to a fat ratio per se. You want to keep that. So like, I don't like fish at all, and I don't eat it. I cook it for my family. They love it, but I don't eat it. So I do supplement omega-3s, but you really want to make sure your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is proportionate. So they reference that also in these diets, that you want to make sure that you're not getting the omega-6, which are, help me out.
Omega-6. Well, I know that coconut oil has omega-6. Coconut oil is good, but it can, if you do too much of it, it is not good for you. It'll have the opposite effect on your body. And so that's what I know.
What
now.
That ratio.
Yeah, I have the ratio.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
So if you consume more of the omega-3, that ratio, because it's like omega-6 over omega-3, you want the Western diet is high in omega-6. And it's not that omega-6 is terrible and that those oils are bad, but it's just that we don't have enough of the fish and the healthier oils to balance out that ratio. So this is a book by Stephen Masley, MD, and they go through different types of fats in the diet and trying to give you a rundown of Atkins. And I thought it was pretty interesting because I wasn't a fan of Atkins, but I love bacon too, and I eat a lot of bacon.
Dana, can you
on Saturday.
Dana, can you address hydrogenated oils? I'm sure you've done a lot of research on why hydrogenated oils are so bad for you, where you find them, and what they do to your body.
So like hydrogenated oils are mainly saturated oils, saturated fats. And what happens when you consume a lot of saturated fats, so when you think about fats, you think about, I don't know how technical, I'm not good at my, like talking about technical things very well, but you want to picture like a row of carbons and they just have a whole bunch of hydrogens. But what happens when you see a fat like that, they become really straight. And so they layer and they compact, and they are generally oils that are congealed at room temperature. But then they also are in your membrane like that, in your lipid membranes, in your skin, in your cardiovascular system, in your veins. And the thing about avoiding saturated fat or saturated fats and oils is that you want ones that are unsaturated, because then the chains become kinked, and so they can't like lay on each other, for instance, in your veins and in your lipids. So what happens is your membranes become more fluid, and so it enables them to function like they're supposed to. So it's really, you're providing your body what it needs to function optimally. So you're not, you're giving it what it needs for, things to act as protective barriers. So think about your GI tract. You want to maintain that barrier so you can have great immunity, so that you can have great digestive function. And then if you're eating the wrong things, you can cause inflammation, and lipid barriers and stuff can become inflamed, and then just everything can pass through and go throughout your body and cause other health issues. So when you consume the healthier oils, then these membranes in your body, which are everywhere, your skin, your heart, your veins, muscles, any cell that's in your body, which you're just a mass of cells, it helps all of those barriers function properly. Even your nerve cells, your mind, your thoughts, your transmission, neural, cognitive function, all of that it's all connected to membrane function.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Was that appropriate answer?
Well, that's good. So I was thinking that a lot of those hydrogenated oils are found in processed food. So that's basically because
okay,
of how. So yeah, that's the thing. And so you did a beautiful explanation of it. So I just wanted to. So the hydrogenated oils are in processed foods. Don't eat processed foods because it gets in your gut, it gets in your GI tract, and
Yes.
it's hard to release it out of your body. That's basically it. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you're right.
Absolutely. Pastor Dolores said, as far as her journey is, she's probably doing what I'm doing, more of a keto friendly kind of diet, because she found that works for her. To me, that seems to be the simplest of programs. She's had a foot injury, which kind of derailed her for a moment. But the thing is, just get back on the horse and try it again. I was going to say something, and you were talking about the different oils. Coconut oil is, I heard everything good about that. Avocado oil, and everybody talks about olive oil as being a wonderful substitute, excuse me, for oils. So the problem is that if you go out somewhere, they don't necessarily use those types of oils in cooking. Excuse me. But talk about making decisions when you're not at home, and how do you handle that, Dana, when you're going to possibly restaurants?
So I get a little help in that area because I have 3 kids. And so when we go out to eat, that's expensive. I tend to avoid it. But no, when we do go out to eat, because we don't go out, because I don't frequent those restaurants often, I really, and I stick to my diet in the other times. Like I'm pretty strict on keeping my diet. I have grown that way. I didn't start that way. Like I said, I was making little choices. But when I go out to eat, I just try to make the healthiest choice. And then sometimes, if I want that, I use those opportunities since they're rare to eat what I want. Unless I'm going to like Cheesecake Factory, because I know they have a low-cal menu. They count they provide a calorie count. So you can determine where you want to be throughout your day. I know that I consume about 1,600 calories a day, 12 to 1,600 calories a day on most days. So if I go to a restaurant, I can determine, or I pre-plan. So if I know that I'm going to go out, which is really probably half the battle of weight loss, is just to be a planner. If I know I'm going to a restaurant, I will consume all the fruits and vegetables all day and not cheat. And then when I go to the restaurant, it's my time. I'm going to eat what I want. I'm not going to think about it. And I still lose weight. That works for me. I do try to stick to avoiding salty foods because I tend to hold a lot of water weight. Some people don't have that issue. So I avoid fast food. I really try to avoid fast food.
Okay. One of the things that although my sister is not terribly overweight like I was, um, the inflammation, someone was talking about the inflammation that certain foods causes your body. I'm trying to get her on the keto because I've also learned that people who have Alzheimer's and dementia, it greatly affects your cognitive skills when you consume um, carbohydrates, because those kind of foods turn into fat, and then it affects your brain. And so it's so hard because you want to splurge every now and then. I need to stay on it consistently with her. But when we're in the presence of other people and, she wants to eat this and, but it really is poison to people who are suffering with cognitive issues. Speak to that, Miss Dana.
Oh, okay. Um, so inflammation and foods that cause inflammation, I'm kind of drawing a blank right now, but I can speak to inflammation and how you can, um, do things to reduce inflammation. Like Letitia said, we can reduce our exercise intervals. Like, because if you do chronic exercise, that increases inflammation. You can do the 30-minute session or a 20-minute session a few times a week. Also, diet's high in antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin D is actually pretty great vitamin to take as well, and helps with cognitive function as well. And just sticking to ingredients that support reducing inflammation. Omega-3 fish oil is a good vitamin to supplement alpha lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine, CoQ10 is a good one. It's a powerful antioxidant, actually helps support your mitochondria, which are your energy powerhouses in your cells. And it's also good for, has some benefit, maybe not a lot, but some benefit based probably on energy for cognitive function. But inflammation can be avoided in diet when you stick more towards, your darker berries, your strawberries, your blueberries, your raspberries, and those kind of fruits and vegetables, and anything that's like connected to low inflammation. I have like notes here.
I
So
was
I
going
was
to say
trying to get
anything
to
that's
them, but
nutrient dense foods are going to help your inflammation. And so that's your vegetables, your fruits, drinking lots of water, staying away from processed foods, getting a probiotic, drinking kombucha, those
That's what I
type
was
of
going to
things,
ask you about.
you know,
I was
that's
just
going to
about to
help
ask,
the
and
inflammation in your body.
I was just about to ask about that, and I forgot the question. I was going to ask Dana about probiotics because you mentioned that to me about probiotics, the importance of that.
yes. So like we were speaking earlier about your GI health, probiotics really have been shown, along with glutamine, have been shown to really maintain the barrier function of your intestinal tract. And all of these ingredients, you can go to www.pubmed, which is .com, which is the uh, national database that has these peer-reviewed research studies that are available. And there's some that are technical, but then there's others that are available, so you can read up on this information, because I'm really game for people reading up on it themselves. But back to probiotics, really help populate your gastrointestinal tract, and they reduce the population of unwanted bacteria, so that you're not prone to that, so that you're supporting your immune system. Just trying to stay in the legal lane right now so that it supports your immune health and healthy function of your GI tract, and it helps maintain that barrier. Sometimes when your GI tract is not well populated, what happens is you have these spaces in your GI tract and they become inflamed and separate. So food that passes through, toxins, things that bacteria that is not necessarily supportive to your body can just easily go through that membrane and go to places in your body that you don't want, and it causes inflammation as well.
Okay, Alicia, there's a question on the table that I'd like for you to answer.
Yeah,
Miss
I
Tasha.
saw that. Yeah, she said if you're a newbie and you've tried all the fad diets and they haven't worked, how do you transition to this type of lifestyle that you're all speaking about? And so I've tried all the fad diets. I've done paleo, keto a little bit, Atkins, and to me, diets don't work until meal planning, making sure you're getting the right type of foods. Your foods need to be about your plate. Dana talked about that plate. Your plate needs to be about 33% of protein, the 33% of clean fruits and vegetables, some good oils, lots of water. You want to structure your plate where it doesn't have a lot of carbohydrates on it. I do like sweet potatoes. If I'm going to eat a carbohydrate or something like that, I'm going to eat a sweet potato. But really thinking about what you're eating, what you're putting in your body, and portion control is good too. Not eating as much and drinking a water. I can't talk about the benefits of drinking enough water, being hydrated, that flushes your system out. And so it's not really about a fad diet. It's about getting your mindset that you're wanting to live, that you're going to do the best you can, and getting the best and cleanest foods in your body, making sure your fruits and vegetables are organic, that they don't have any pesticides on it. If you're going to eat meat, making sure your meat is not full of antibiotics and steroids and that kind of stuff. So that's the best thing you can do, a little bit at a time. We didn't get fat overnight, and it's going to take time. It's a journey. That's why we talk about a journey. So it's not going to be a quick fix. Slow and steady will win the race. And so, and then getting and having accountability and guidance. That's why I'm a health coach, because I like to guide people and help them, hold them by the hand and help them on their journey. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. It's hard to do this journey by yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to say.
And Tanisha, one of the things that I wanted to speak to your question as well, the importance of just starting somewhere. And like we were talking, I don't know if you were on then, but just getting back to nature, the things that God has created for us. Every diet is different, but every one of them says something that's common, and that's getting back to the plan that God has laid out for us, and that's holistic foods, fruits and vegetables. More so the vegetables than the fruit, because the fruit that we're allowed to eat that doesn't really spike your insulin as well and doesn't cause inflammation are the berries, the strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, all of those kind. So when you're talking about fruits, we're not necessarily talking about bananas that are high in sugar or apples that I love that are high in sugar. We're talking more like the berries. But and just make a little small changes, like we were saying. I've also been pairing my eating with intermittent fasting, because I know sometimes that I have a tendency to get out of control once I start eating. So I'm just moving back my window of eating into a smaller window. And so instead of eating breakfast, we're finding out that breakfast may not be the best meal of the day for everyone. So I'm moving that back and maybe having a late afternoon be my first meal, and then cutting it off around 7. So my eating, even if I don't have diet food per se, I'm cutting my window of eating out. And so that really, really started my journey actually, because I was fasting till 4 o'clock and then only eating basically from 4 to 7. And so that's how my journey actually started with our fast. And so that really worked wonders for me. Excuse me. And so even if you haven't gotten to the point where the foods you're eating are not maybe not the best, but just try pushing back that window and just eating within a smaller window of time. We have another question, Militia.
Dr. Llewellyn asked, I'm sorry, Dr. Llewellyn asked about kombucha a little bit, so that's what, if you want to address that, so.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, Ms. Dana.
No,
what were you going to say, Dana? I'm sure you had something great to say.
I was going to speak. Well, I was going to say what's really important that I don't think that all of us, I know we all do it, but I don't think that we've made it clear, is to celebrate whatever you've done. So if you have one day, and say you eat fast food every day, and one day out of a month you did not eat fast food, celebrate, not with food, but celebrate that day and really compliment yourself. You know, good job. You know, I did that one day. I didn't have a pop. You know, that's my next goal, is to cut back on my pop habit. I didn't have a pop today. Awesome. And I didn't have a pop today. Yay. So, you know, just celebrate that you accomplished something. And then the more you celebrate yourself, the more it helps your mindset to like, wow, okay, well, I'll do this day. And you may do 50 things, you know, wrong. But the more you keep on doing one thing right, you'd be surprised how much momentum you gain if you reinforce it with celebrating yourself. One other major thing that I did was I stopped calling myself fat. And I believe this is Tonisha Smith. So she knows that in 2020, my New Year's resolution, when I started the weight loss part, is that I was going to stop speaking death over me and start speaking life, which was I was going to stop saying I'm fat. And I actually started speaking my next weight loss. So if, you know, I've lost 50 pounds, I'm going to start telling people, well, I'm losing 55. I've almost lost 55 pounds, or, you know, I'm going to lose 55. I'm 55 down. And then I check the scale every day, and you'd be surprised how much, if you speak it out your mouth, and we know these concepts because we practice them for our spiritual life, but it's also the same, letting your diet be your medicine, just like you would the word of God. I don't know if this is Christian based. I'm a Christian. So, you know, it speaks life, you know, to your soul. And just like your diet should speak life to your body, you're feeding your diet like you care about yourself that much. I'm not fat. I'm beautiful. I'm thin. I'm healthy. I'm strong, you know, and really reiterate that to yourself and rehearse it over and over and over.
Did you speak on that? What was it, that kombucha?
Kombucha. Kombucha. It's great for your gut health. It's a form of fermented food. So sauerkraut, kombucha, probiotics. It strengthens your gut. It helps you to go to the bathroom better. It gives you energy. So I don't know if it's good for somebody that's on keto, because it may have I don't know if it may have a little bit of sugar in it, but I know it's good for gut health, and it's delicious. I buy it from a local person. I buy mine fresh here in Springfield. So if you can get somebody that can make it, you can make it, but it's really good for your gut health. So if you have bloating and gas and constipation or diarrhea, a kombucha is good along with a probiotic for your gut health. So, it's got a lot of constipation as well too.
I thought it was a tea. What exactly is it?
It is a tea, but it's a fermented tea. They put this stuff called a SCOBY in it, and it's a fermented tea. But I don't know if it tastes kind of sweet. I know the lady I buy from, she puts a lot of fresh fruit in hers. So, but it's a tea, but it's a fermented. So any type of fermented food is good for your gut.
Definitely
You
good
know.
for you as well. I saw another comment out there, Malaysia. What was that from Miss Jefferson?
Let's see. Yes, intermittent fasting works. That's what Pastor Llewellyn said. Casita Jefferson said, great point. One of the things, one thing at a time sounds doable. And that's what I really like when Dana was saying, that's what I teach my clients, that when we have our sessions, my first thing is, what did you do well? And we celebrate those well, whatever you've done well. And that the goal is not to think about what you didn't do well, but think about what you did do well and celebrate it. Self-care. I'm all about self-care. So, and talking to yourself. And what I wanted to say is, anybody that's on here, I have a journal. It's called the 5 Fives, and I'll give it to you for free. I normally sell it, but it's with affirmations and gratitude and how to win your day and speaking to your vision. And, and so we have to speak life and death are in the power of the tongue. But when you were talking, I was thinking about Lamentations, 3:23. His mercies are new every morning. So if you fail one day, you can get back and you have another day for success. So that's how I try to live my life and teach my clients that too. So every that's life. So every day is not gonna
Dana?
if you do your 85 to 90%, if you do good, that you don't have to be 100%. That's what I'm saying too.
Dana, you had a point you wanted to make?
I just wanted to define the kombucha for it's a tea mushroom and is one of the main ingredients, and slightly effervescent, and just speaking to the mushrooms have been shown, per the research, to support immune system function. So which is, as we had stated, essential to your gut health. Another major function, immunity is a major function of gut health. So that's a good tool to have in your arsenal, your food arsenal.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I thank you guys for your wonderful comments. We're going to wrap it up, but again, we're talking about our journey. And just like Malaysia said earlier, Dana, can you put those vitamins and stuff that you suggested in the comments?
This book?
You were speaking on a few of the things that were, if you think of, you were saying some things that were good for us. And if you think of a few,
she would say good.
Okay. Yeah.
You had named a bunch of stuff that I had never heard of before.
Alpha lipoic acid.
Yeah, and Malaysia, can you put your contact information, because Malaysia said that she was going to sow into some of your lives, a book or something.
It's a downloadable. It's a downloadable. You can download it. I'll send it to you. I'll put my contact information in there as well. So yes.
How do I'm not sure how to put it in the chat.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm not sure how to access the chat right now, but
okay. If you send us a list, we'll make sure we get it in there. Just send us a list. If you can text it to me or Malaysia, and then I'll put it in there. You guys can check back with it and see some of those things that she had suggested. But again, I thank you you guys so much for your time. I really enjoyed our fellowship together. Again, we're just doing this one day at a time. One of the things that I loved about my journey is that I never counted calories. I never just focused on eating that which was nasty. I just found something that was good and was good for me. It was good to me and good for me. And so I stayed with those things. Salads, fruits, vegetables, again, we said, not necessarily the sugary fruits, but the berries, and so staying with things like that. And again, Militia was doing smoothies. I've learned, because I've taken out the sugar primarily out of my diet. Um, I don't have the sweet tooth that I once had, and so my taste buds have differed, and so now I can eat dark chocolate that is much better for you, and I can eat some of the things that are necessarily that I probably would not have eaten prior, but I've developed a taste for them. And so, those of you that are out there, again, we're just taking this thing one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. And again, celebrate the moments of your life, celebrate you. Just make small changes. Dana was talking about just walking, from the end of the parking lot to the store, or Militia may talk about just drinking a smoothie for a meal, or me, I may just push back those meals to eating a later time in the day. And even if you don't use diet food, if you just cut that window out, it also helps with your because every time you eat, you spike your blood sugar. So if you're a person who's out there who has sugar diabetes, you may not be for weight loss, you want to change your appetite, but just for your sugar's sake, just do that intermittent fasting, which is eating in a smaller window of time, and still you will maintain your weight loss journey or goals. Any other comments before we leave? I thank you, ladies, for your comments. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Dana, for being our special guest today, and Militia, our health and wellness coach. I don't see your information in the chat, Militia.
Well, it would be better if somebody, I'll put my email in there. Tanisha gave me her email. So Tanisha, I will send you the journal. Anybody else that wants the journal, send me your email, and I will get you the journal. So you can download it. And actually what I'll do, I will even give you, I have a whole course, and I even will give you the course for free, where there's videos attached to the journal as well too. So I will gift that to you. So, but yeah, give me your email and I will do that.
I'm sorry, Dana?
I just wanted to share another tool that we're using in our coursework. This is on vitamins, minerals, herbs, and so much more. It's the second edition, and it's by Pamela Warshin Smith. She is an MD, MPH. So basically, it has information on all of the topics, many of the ingredients that we spoke about today, and their benefit for the body. And it's really straightforward. It's not technical tool, so it's very user friendly. And it also has in the back numerous health conditions and what you can do for your diet to support optimal health in those situations.
I'm going to get that
That's
book
wonderful.
because I do a hair tissue mineral analysis, and what it does, it tells you what kind of vitamins and minerals that you're off. And so I need that book so I can do research for my clients when different stuff come up. So yes, I'm going to get that book tonight. I'm going to go to Amazon. So yes, thank you for that. That's a great book. So.
Yep.
Well, thank you, ladies, for the ladies are on our panel, Dana and Militia, for your input and for your expertise. We had a great conversation, and we thank you, all of those that joined in the conversation. I really appreciate you. We're going to try this again on next month, probably about the 10th of January, and we want to continue our conversation. And we ask that when you see our notification, that you would share this information with so many other people, that they will join in the conversation as well, so that we can be the best versions of ourselves, so that we can be the kingdom citizens that we're called to be, so that we can be a healthy version of look better, feel better, and not be sick and diseased and all of that. So we want to give a shout out to all of those that will come and watch this later. So we thank you so much, Dana Cox, who is our expert for today, and Malaysia Bailey, who is our health and wellness coach. And we say good night and have a great day. Have a great forever. God bless. Bye-bye.